The topic is why do we get sick? A lot of us we journey on in this life and then we get sick, but we don't know exactly why. It's probably the food and the pollutants and the toxins, right? So I think to that extent we can agree. Here in this report by CNBC, a recent Johns Hopkins study claims more than 250,000 people in the US die every year from medical errors. Other reports claim the numbers to be as high as 440,000. Wow. So, medical errors are the third leading cause of death after heart disease and cancer. Okay, heart and stroke, they are lumped as one. Cancer is number two. All right, and ladies, breast cancer is very high among ladies. It wasn't until 1911 to 1923 that vegetable oil was introduced by this company called Crisco. Okay, so here it says the first ever shortening made entirely of vegetable oil was born. Crisco was seen as a more pure and economical alternative to animal fat and butter. So, guys, prior to the introduction of vegetable oil, we're used to animal fat and butter. And then they introduced this vegetable oil, but it's not vegetable, it's actually seeds. All right. And prior to the introduction, it's actually used as, you'd be surprised, lubricant. Congratulations. We are all pouring lubricant into our body. I can prove to you that this vegetable seed oil is actually lubricant. Would you eat it? You'd be so scared, wouldn't you? Right? But because you see it as pure, economical, and vegetable. See, they're very good in marketing and branding, isn't it? They use the word vegetable. Okay, let's go on. And not only they introduce vegetable oil, here we have the American Heart Association's recommendation. Wow, powerful. All right. So for those of you who do not know, animal fat and all these, they are known as saturated fats. Okay, stable, saturated. And these vegetable oil, they are polyunsaturated fats. So they go rancid very fast. So you know what they had to do to make it look pure and lasting, right? They have to go through a very high temperature process and basically uh, make that chemical structure oxidizing. That's why when we consume it, it oxidizes our body. That's what it does. Okay. And this process is known as hydrogenation, about 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and bleaching and many other stuff. All right. So we are cooking, eating chemical. All right. That used to be lubricant. Anything which is not natural is going to cause inflammation in your body. Do you know that? Just because you consume something and you don't die the next day doesn't mean it's good for you. Something to think about, isn't it? I like to laugh at the craziness of this world, really, because it is a crazy world. All right. They make us eat lubricant, and they have the American Heart Association endorsing it. Let's show you how crazy this world is. Okay, let's show you how crazy. So here, I know it's a little bit small. In 1961, okay, 25 to 35% of calories, okay, they change it to substitute vegetable oils and polyunsaturated fats for saturated fats. Aha. And this never really changed. You look at it. Up until now, it it hasn't really changed. They still maintain that this vegetable oil is safe. That's why that's why you see this, right, guys? Familiar? Anywhere you go, I'm in Manila right now, and yeah, I see this. No wonder we are all dying. You see why this is happening? Because why is it not sugar that's killing us? Why high carbs that's killing us? Why? Because around the year 2000 until now, the per calorie intake has actually dropped. So carbohydrate has dropped. Okay. And the amount of sugar per person in the world has also dropped around the year 2000, plus minus. But the amount of vegetable oil has gone up. Okay. Prior to 1920s, you don't have many heart diseases. Very negligible. If you want to be a cardiologist, you probably will not make good living. Okay. Prior to 1920s. And don't have stroke that frequently as we have today, right? You don't have cancer as rampant as we have today. Aside from that, okay, we also have diabetes. We also have what else? Obesity. And we have what? Dementia, Alzheimer. We have so many things, which before 1920s, before the introduction of this vegetable oil, is virtually non-existent. And then by the 1930s, heart problem became number one. Okay. Now, isn't that scary? Is that a coincidence? Hey, go and take this vegetable oil, low or no cholesterol. It's healthier, good for your heart. Wow. And then in 1961, the world leader, the top country in the world that everyone looks up to, and there's this American Heart Association that says that if you want to live a healthy life without heart problem, take vegetable oil. Wow. That balloon, that blew up. So did heart attack, stroke, and cancer. Guys, please screenshot this so that you can research yourself. You see, with this vegetable oil, it contains this linoleic acid, or you can pronounce as linoleic acid, okay, which is omega-6. You know, we have omega-3, which is good. Then we have omega-6. Omega-6, too much is not good. Just a small amount is okay, but too much is not good, all right? And I'm not the one saying it. Let's read on. So this one is about linoleic acid, a narrative review of the effects of increased intake in the standard American diet and associations chronic disease. Okay, association with chronic disease. Let's read the highlight. While linoleic acid is considered to be an essential fatty acid, what is essential fatty acid? That means our body requires it. It's essential, just like essential trace mineral, essential. But if too much of it, it kills you. When you have too much LA or linoleic acid, may God save us. Let's read on, okay? Now, so it's not just essential because we have too much of it, right? So while LA is considered an essential fatty acid and support health when consumed in amounts modest, an excessive intake of LA leads to the formation of oxidized linoleic acid metabolites, impairments in mitochondrial function. Wow. Through suboptimal cardiolipin composition, and likely contributes to many chronic diseases that became an epidemic in the 20th century and whose prevalence continues to increase until now. Okay? So what they are saying, 20th century, by the way, is those of you who may not know, it's not referring to 20 something. 20th century means 1901 until 1999, all right? This article published, right, in the scientific journal, reputable one, by the way, right? National Institutes of Health, US government, PubMed, and it says this. Now, if you look a little bit further, all right, the standard American diet comprises 14 to 25 times more omega-6. Remember, omega-6 is from linoleic acid. Okay. Prior to the 20th century, average intake of LA was 2%. Guys, it used to be under 2% of the total daily calorie intake. The biological optimal range is approximately 1 to 2%. But current LA consumption is over 25% of total calorie intake for the average person. If you use 1% as the yardstick in the past, and now it has gone to 25%, how many folds, how many times in terms of increase or increment? 1% to 25%, guys, is 25 times more. So it's no longer essential. It's abuse, overdose. It's too much. That's why I say, killing me slowly, killing me softly. We take it every day of our lives. If you look at the history, it will scare you because before 1866, the Western diet consisted mainly of animal fats such as tallow, beef fat, suet, mutton, beef or lamb fat, lard, pork fat, and butter, milk fat. Furthermore, Eastern society used cold-pressed fats such as coconut and palm oil. Vegetable and seed oils that are regularly consumed today did not exist prior to the late 1800s. Of course, it didn't exist. It was used as lubricants. And then we have a spike in heart problem. They blame it on the cholesterol. Guys, I was born in that era where they say cholesterol is bad. Okay? So any food which has cholesterol, even eggs with the yolk, which has a high cholesterol, we used to be so frightened of taking egg with yolk. This chart will show you the type of oil with the highest content of LA or linoleic acid. Safflower oil, grapeseed oil, not grapeseed as in food supplement. I'm talking about cooking oil. Sunflower oil, you see, 68%. Corn oil, you look at it, soybean, rice bran, canola, right? I know a lot of you take canola, right? 19%, good luck to you. Olive oil, avocado oil, well, healthy, 10%. Lard, palm oil, around 10%. So the healthiest, we probably know already, coconut oil and butter. You go to the fast food chain, they fry the crispy chicken for you to eat. How many times do they recycle using the oil? And you think they will just fry one time and then throw it away? We have to be careful. So next time you walk into any restaurant, you ask the waiter, can you please ask your cook or your chef, what kind of oil do they use? You won't get olive oil, you won't get coconut oil, you won't get butter. Butter is expensive, right? That's why we are all very, very sick because this linoleic acid actually damages, you saw it just now, I did mention, right? Mitochondrial function. That means our cellular membrane has been compromised. So if your cell contains the mitochondria and the mitochondria is not functioning properly, right? the ADP and the ATP. That means your cell and your battery pack in your body, that's your cell, your power pack, is not working. Do you think you can be healthy? Oxidative stress, tissue damage, and mitochondrial dysfunction. You see, I'm not making this up, all right? I'm not making this up. Mitochondrial dysfunction, as linoleic acid, is not only responsible for cardiovascular disease and Alzheimer's onset, but additional chronic diseases, including cancer, dementia, obesity, and diabetes, are also associated with oxidized metabolites. Wow. There is conflicting evidence on the associations between LA intake and many of these chronic diseases summarized below. So on the left, they're arguing, say it's good. On the right, it's bad. All right. So there you go, guys. Now you know why we are sick. Of course, there's also a lot of stuff, right? In the supermarket shelves. It's best to take natural food that does not contain chemical. But you know what? Sometimes the animals that we eat contain what? Growth hormone, antibiotics, right? And then they are being fed by what they call GMO, genetically modified, the grain and everything. So it goes into the animal digests and it goes into the body and we eat it. Right. Wow. If we need to do something to keep ourselves healthy.